Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. Listen, I had a few thoughts regarding elimination diets, given the fact that my doctor has very strongly encouraged me. I'm not going to say she's making me, but she has very strongly encouraged me, and I trust her on this to eliminate dairy. Now, that has been actually going quite well for me. It does take a little bit of reframing, and so that can be a little bit tiresome. But I have created a full list for myself of, I don't know, maybe 20 different dinner ideas that I can just quickly draw from. And that has been very useful. Now, I did have this idea sort of start turning in my head as I was considering this elimination diet thing. I relied pretty heavily on dairy products, the cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, whey protein, milk protein, those kinds of things in order to simplify and expedite food choices for me. And that took quite a bit of effort to reframe in my brain. But because I relied so heavily on those, one thought that occurred to me, I could just swap everything out for eggs. Eggs are one of those foods that I love deeply and dearly. I could easily just say, well, if I don't know what to eat, I can just grab a hard-boiled egg. I do like to keep hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. Or I could easily scramble up some eggs. Or I could easily, make up a whole bunch of pseudo sous vide egg bites in my Instant Pot and just keep them in the fridge, warm them up quickly. Fried hard-boiled eggs are a favorite. Eggs, I love eggs. And it would be all too easy for me to take my heavy reliance on dairy products in my low-carb keto lifestyle and just reapply that energy and effort only onto eggs. And that sort of took me back in the timeline of popular food choices for the keto and a low-carb community to a few years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, when the PSMF or protein-sparing modified fast bread that Maria Emmerich kind of figured out how to make where it doesn't collapse on itself, or egg white protein bread, that might be a more popular moniker for that. When that became very popular, so many of us jumped into that because the idea of being able to create a low carb, high protein option that was shelf stable to a certain degree, for a few days. You could keep it in the fridge for longer. You could easily make a sandwich. You could have grilled cheese again. You could have peanut butter jelly if you made your own keto jelly or bought a keto jelly, or, there were a variety of ways we could use that for toast, etc. I'm getting lost in the weeds here. Many of us jumped on the bandwagon with the egg white protein bread. It's delightful. And so it's, who could blame us? But there started to be a few anecdotes cropping up about people developing sensitivities to egg whites because they were either consuming copious amounts of this egg white bread, or they were adding that into their already heavy egg heavy diet. So it's one of those things where sometimes the dose makes the poison, and I did not want to just shift all of my focus from a dairy, focus to I can apply all that energy to eggs and then wind up overdoing eggs and creating an inflammatory response there. The whole point for me eliminating dairy is to eliminate a possible inflammatory trigger to my body. And it would be counterproductive if I were to, in the process of eliminating one inflammatory food, create an inflammatory response from over-consuming a different food. My doctor has me doing this dairy elimination for about 6 weeks to start. We'll take some more blood work. We'll discern, is this actually improving things, or are things staying the same? Possibly the dairy is not my problem. Possibly, like I said, the dose makes the poison. It's possible that I overconsume dairy and just need to pull back on it. We're just trying to eliminate a possible inflammatory food from my diet, see what the results are, and then decide, is it worth it to try to reintroduce or not? And in the process, I just really don't want to wind up creating a different inflammatory problem over using eggs. All right, now that I've gotten the inflammatory food, elimination diet, food thought processes out of my head, I feel like my brain can move forward. And I really appreciate you going on that little side quest with me there. So I also need to be consuming food before I work out, and I work out several times per week. And I need to be able to consume something that is quick and that I can have prepped the night before, because I do prefer to work out in the mornings, get that going, get that piece of my day kickstarted. I find that I'm more active in general whenever I start my day off with intentional exercise or intentional movement. So that there's a lot of healthy habits for me that are associated with me starting my day with exercise. I also struggle to actually prepare food, like hot food in the mornings, which is where those keto chows were really going to come in clutch for me. But they are a milk protein based product, and I'm not going to be having the milk based products right now. I also am going to not be using my whey protein isolate, even though many people do not see negative results from using a whey protein isolate if they have like lactose issues. I'm trying to adhere as closely to my doctor's recommendations as possible so that I can give myself the most clear and clean data to make decisions based on. In light of that, I want to pop over to the kitchen and show you a few things that I can use for those mornings whenever I need to eat something before working out. This is not going to be an every single morning food option. It is kind of reserved for those mornings whenever I'm going to do a workout. All right, I do have a few options that are in fact dairy-free that I wanted to share with you. And the first one being the KetoChow core line. This is beef protein isolate, or I'm sorry, powdered beef protein. This is dairy-free. This is the strawberry cream. They have vanilla cream, and they also have chocolate. Chocolate happens to be one of my absolute favorites. But they also have their hearty beef soup, which is also the powdered beef protein. This is essentially this without any flavor, or without any added, strawberry or vanilla or chocolatiness to it. So I can easily take this, create it with, a little bit of cocoa powder or I've got some strawberry extract from, Olive Nation. I could add that into this, a touch of sweetener, and I'm good to go. So those core line, or the beef protein line from KetoChow, is great. The other benefit to these is they offer 1/3 of your daily vitamins and minerals. So it is a true meal replacement. That's very cool to have on hand. Another thing that I can do is actually some collagen peptides. This is the Marigold Foods brand. These are a great quality collagen peptides, and their flavors are really good. I've got the hot cocoa here. That one is unopened. Here's my opened hot cocoa. I've got the horchata, which is a really fun, sort of like creamy and a little bit cinnamony kind of a flavor. It's really good. And then the strawberry sundae collagen. This one is really tasty. Now, here's something you do need to know about collagens. These are incomplete protein sources. Yes, they can provide you with some proteins that are really great, but they are lacking in some specific essential amino acids, specifically tryptophan. And in order to make this a complete protein option, which is what I would prefer to do before working out, I need to add some of this essential amino acids to it. This is the bulk supplements brand. I'm gonna tell you right now, this stuff tastes disgusting. Full stop. There's no getting around it. This is strictly essential amino acids and some sunflower lecithin in order to keep it from clumping, I believe. 10 grams of this gives you 10 grams of essential amino acids. It's got the leucine, isoleucine, valine, lysine, threonine, phenylalanine, be blessed, methionine, histidine, and tryptophan. So this has all of the essential amino acids. What is that? 1, 2, 3. I think there are 9 essential amino acids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. 9 essential amino acids that our bodies cannot create. Therefore, we have to consume them in order to get complete protein. So if I add in 1 serving, 10 grams of this to my collagen peptides, it becomes a complete protein source. And this also tastes delicious, which helps to mask the horrible flavor of the essential amino acids. But I do like the bulk supplements brand. They've done just fine and dandy for me. Okay, and then there is Equip Protein. This is a complete protein source, and this is a beef protein, grass-fed beef protein, which is a nice high quality type of protein. And it's a beef isolate. This has the cocoa and stevia in it for the chocolate flavor. And it has what, like 20 grams of protein, is that right? 21 grams of protein, so that's not too shabby. And then I also have the unflavored version where I can just mix in whatever flavors I want. I can combine this with my strawberry collagen over here from Marigold Foods and get a complete protein source and some delicious flavor. I could add this Equip Protein to my strawberry KetoChow core and get a bigger boost of protein. You know, there's a way to sort of combine a lot of these things so that you get what you need, and it still tastes amazing. So anyway, the Equip Protein is a beef base that I can use right now. Ultimately, my goal right now is to eliminate the possible inflammatory foods while also not causing myself inflammation from overconsumption of other things. And I'm not eliminating eggs. I am just going to not consume 12 per day anymore for the sake of, you know, not going overboard. And using some of these beef protein based items, these collagen based items, is going to help me to do that and still abide in consuming some food before I have my workouts. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in my next video.